All right, Congressman Pete Sessions, the Oversight Committee, is with us now. Congressman, it's good to see you. I appreciate it. I'm trying to understand, do you feel like the Secret Service bungled this, or do you think that there was political pressure from the White House that they didn't, shall we say, be more aggressive in either what they did do or could do?
Well, I think we've seen that the Department of Justice, the FBI, everyone the president's come in contact with where there were blatant irregularities, abnormalities, and inconsistencies, every single time there has been an excuse. Hunter Biden receives VIP treatment, but everybody else seems to run afoul of the law, and the Department of Justice is free to tell every single person in this country. We know what this is, and what a shame that they've now neutralized the Secret Service.
So you think this was the White House either implicitly or explicitly putting their, sort of meddling in this investigation?
Well, we will have an opportunity to find out how many.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is that I get the political sort of theater of it. And look, cocaine in the White House is sort of a remarkable story for the past 10 days. But that said, accusing the White House of sort of pulling the Secret Service off this investigation is pretty huge, isn't it?
Well, it would be. And as a matter of fact, that's why now that they've given that answer, it will give us a chance to learn more about it. The bottom line is that I believe there should be drug tests that are re-administered to people who work in the White House. I believe that anybody that was in the White House those 24 hours should have to undergo a drug test. I think they should take this seriously. And I think that we will find out from them, okay, what have you done as a result of this to ensure that you get closer to the culprit? But you see, that's not what they're after. They are not after that. They are trying to protect the president, and they are trying to protect people from the truth.
We can all agree that the chief of staff could order his whole staff and say, you got to submit yourself to a drug test, you got to give fingerprints, you got to give a DNA sample, you got to sign an affidavit saying it wasn't yours. If it ends up being yours, we're going to charge you with perjury, on and on and on. There's a lot they could do. The White House hasn't done all of that. What I'm trying to separate here, and I'll give you the last word, is do you think this is the White House protecting people inside the White House? Fine. Or do you think this is the White House interfering with the Secret Service and their actual investigation?
Well, we're going to find that out. The Secret Service should have a process by which they follow up on crimes that are committed in the White House. They should have a direct drug policy about how they isolate and find out what kind of a problem from a national security perspective they have. So, we might not ever find out. What we do know is that the Secret Service needs to make sure that they followed up with every single person that was anywhere in that area in the White House for the 24 hours previously. They need to be drug tested, they need to sign an affidavit, and they need to be serious about this. This is a terrible circumstance for the United States of America and the secrecy and the integrity of the White House.
All right. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.